Hello gentlemen, in this video we're going to talk about watch brands like Omega, Rolex, Tissot, and we're going to match them to fragrance houses like Parfums de Marly, Dior, and Creed. This should be a lot of fun. So I'm in Europe this week on business, and on the long flight over, I had this thought experiment that I couldn't shake. I was thinking about watches and fragrances, two things that I love and love to collect. And I realized how quickly my brain started to pair them together. Because if you think about watches for a moment, and I tell you the brand name of a watch, you immediately associate it with a reputation. You think about its price, its level of prestige, its quality of workmanship, and even the personality of the brand. And fragrances work the exact same way. I could say the name of a fragrance house and almost instantly you tear it out in your mind based on price, prestige, and even personality of the brand. So let's do this thought experiment together. I've written a bunch of these pairings down and I'm gonna just jump right in and start with an obvious one. Rolex. If you had to match Rolex to a fragrance house, you'd match it with Creed. Now think about both of them for a moment. They're known for luxury and quality. Both have a long heritage. They've been around forever. And both brands have reached true icon status. They're known by the general public, not just by enthusiasts. In terms of price and prestige, both brands sit very high in their respective industries, but not at the absolute tippy top. There are a few brands that might even be considered more prestigious on that spectrum. We'll talk about those later. But each brand, Rolex and Creed, is highly sought after, and they have a flagship product. For Rolex, that's the Daytona. You can't even walk into a store and buy one. For Creed, that's a Ventus, a fragrance that has spawned endless online discussions about which batch is best and where to find it. And here's another key similarity. Neither brand is really doing anything radically new or cutting edge. They're both super successful, they know who they are, and you know exactly what you get when you're buying one. To me, this is an obvious parallel. Rolex is Creed, Creed is Rolex. What do you think? So now I'm going to jump into a bit of a speed run. And of course, this is just my opinion here. Not all these will match perfectly, but that's part of the fun. And I'm curious what you think. So let me know in the comments which ones you agree with and which ones you don't. Next up, Omega. Another iconic brand. Its watches are impressive and aspirational, but generally considered a tier below Rolex. And I'd match Omega to Dior. They're both in that same lane. They can be found at luxury boutiques, and yet they're not quite that same level of prestige as Rolex and Creed. Nevertheless, both brands are renowned for exceptional quality and workmanship. They have a large catalog and include some legendary watches, such as the Speedmaster, and in the case of Dior, you have Sauvage and Fahrenheit. I say Omega is Dior, and Dior is Omega. Next up is Tissot. Tissot is Hugo Boss. Both brands represent an entry point, a first step into a new category, whether that's a first Swiss watch or a first designer fragrance. Both have heritage, and they've been around for a long time. You're usually going to get something with decent quality, although that may depend a little bit on the watch or fragrance you choose. Both can be found virtually everywhere in retailers all throughout the world at prices that feel attainable rather than intimidating. Tissot is Hugo Boss. Hugo Boss is Tissot. Next we have Invicta. Invicta is Paco Rabanne. I guess now it's known as just Rabanne, but both brands are bold and polarizing, very affordable, accessible. Both prioritize impact over subtlety in every way. Neither is worried about pleasing purists. In fact, enthusiasts will usually roll their eyes at the Invicta, those big 50mm watches, or Rabanne's robot-shaped bottles and that 1 million gold bar. Invicta is Rabanne, Rabanne is Invicta. Next up, Longines. Longines Jo Malone. Both brands live in a refined, approachable luxury space. Jo Malone fragrances are usually priced between $100 and $200. Longines is often in that $1,000 to $2,000 range. Both have broad appeal and a wide variety of different styles. And both Longines and Jo Malone may even capture your attention, but neither brand is truly aspirational. Your dream watch is probably not a Longines, and your fragrance, that one you can't stop thinking about, is probably not a Jo Malone. So good brands, but I say Longines is Jo Malone is Longines. Zenith. Zenith is Penhaligon's. Both brands have a strong heritage and serious credibility among enthusiasts, yet remain slightly outside the mainstream spotlight. Both of them have an icon, the Zenith El Primero, and for Penhaligon's, that would be Halfeti. Both occupy that same luxury niche price tier compared to other brands. That's below the Rolex Creed tier, but well above that Longines Jo Malone tier. Both are appreciated mostly by those who spent time learning the category. Zenith is Penhaligon's, Penhaligon's is Zenith. Tag Heuer. Tag Heuer is Yves Saint Laurent. Both brands have huge name recognition and are widely available at luxury retailers. Both sit in a middle ground in terms of price and prestige, a step below Omega and Dior. But both occasionally offer something absolutely brilliant, but both occasionally try a little bit too hard and miss the mark. And there are big, huge fan bases of both of these brands. Tag Heuer is Yves Saint Laurent. Yves Saint Laurent is Tag Heuer. Next up, two of my favorites, both in the world of watches and fragrance. Christopher Ward. Christopher Ward is Mancera. Both companies are known for high quality and surprisingly accessible prices. They punch above their weight when it comes to quality, and they're often compared to watches that are a tier above them in prestige. They're beloved by enthusiasts, whether on YouTube or Facebook, but both Mancera and Christopher Ward can be a little tricky to find at traditional retailers. They also both have a distinctive brand logo. Christopher Ward is Mancera, Mancera is Christopher Ward. Next up, we have Hamilton. Hamilton is John Varvatos. Both are American brands that lean masculine. Both have an identity that is rugged and authentic. Both have very accessible pricing. Neither brand feels corporate or overly refined. Both are respected for what they are, but neither offer a real premium level product. Hamilton is John Varvatos. John Varvatos is Hamilton. Panerai. Panerai is Amouage. Both brands are expensive, have their own distinctive style that's instantly recognizable. Both appeal to buyers who want something bold and uncompromising. Neither is a subtle choice. They're both the kind of brand you think you may never own, and then you go and try one on your wrist or spray a little on your wrist, and all of a sudden you're impressed and you get the appeal. Panerai is Amouage. Amouage is Panerai. Okay, now I'm going to attempt to dive into the Holy Trinity. If you're not familiar, the Holy Trinity in the world of watches refers to three of the most respected, highest-end brands that are known for the best craftsmanship in traditional watchmaking. And these are, in terms of prestige, even above Rolex, although Rolex is still far better known to the general public. First, we have Audemars Piguet. Audemars Piguet is Xerjoff. Both brands are expensive. Both are obsessed with design and prestige and presentation. Audemars Piguet builds high-end mechanical watches and has a reputation that collectors obsess over. Xerjoff has fragrances that are known for rare ingredients and complex compositions. Neither is mainstream or subtle. Both are premium and very pricey. Audemars Piguet is Xerjoff. Xerjoff is Audemars Piguet. Patek Philippe. Patek Philippe is Roja Parfums. Both represent the apex of their respective industries. Extreme pricing, with the Patek Nautilus costing over 70,000 US dollars and up. Meanwhile, though there are some Roja fragrances, such as Elysium, that are priced somewhat reasonably, on the high end, a bottle of Roja can cost north of $1,000. And I think they even have one luxe fragrance that costs over $3,000 for one bottle of fragrance. Both offer masterpieces in their collections, and exist at the very top of the ladder and often attract investors and collectors rather than typical buyers. Patek Philippe is Roja, Roja is Patek Philippe. And then we have Vacheron Constantin. Vacheron Constantin is Frederic Malle. Vacheron represents the highest level of technical mastery and discipline in traditional watchmaking, refined for centuries. Frederic Malle occupies that same exact space in the world of fragrance, where craft, precision, and uncompromising quality matter most. Vacheron Constantin is Frederic Malle. Frederic Malle is Vacheron Constantin. Okay guys, done with the Holy Trinity. I've matched them with their respective fragrance house, but I'm on a roll and I've still got a few more matches to make. So next up, Cartier. Cartier, this is an easy one. That's Tom Ford. Both brands combine luxury with fashion authority. Both are instantly recognizable, both are elegant, both have strong offerings for both men and women, and prestige outside of the world of watchmaking and fragrance. In fact, they're both in the eyeglasses business. They sell luxury eyeglasses. So if you want to go further, you could say that Cartier's most famous watch, the legendary Tank, in the world of fragrances, that could be Tom Ford's legendary Oud Wood fragrance. Cartier is Tom Ford is Cartier. Breitling. Breitling is Parfums de Marly. Both brands are bold, masculine, kind of flashy. Both are undoubtedly high quality and respected and priced at a premium level just below that Rolex Creed tier. But at the same time, both brands seem to attract a younger crowd who are just diving into the deep end of watches and fragrances. There's a lot of loud fanboys out there for both brands. And because of this, there's almost a subtle backlash from seasoned enthusiasts. It's kind of like, oh, Breitling is your favorite watch? You like Parfums de Marly? Tell me you just barely got into watches and fragrances without actually telling me. Breitling is Parfums de Marly. Parfums de Marly is Breitling. Ball. Ball is Serge Lutens. Two lesser known brands, at least to the mainstream. And as far as price, they probably fall in that same tier as Longines Jo Malone. Both brands are niche, technical, and a bit quirky. Ball with its sometimes odd style choices and its heavy use of lume. Serge Lutens with its complex fragrance compositions and unusual bottles. Both can be hard to find in retail stores as well, especially Serge Lutens. And yet both have serious appeal to enthusiasts who want something unconventional. Ball is Serge Lutens. Serge Lutens is Ball. Tudor. Tudor is Guerlain. Both blend deep heritage with modern accessibility. They carry long histories without feeling dated or old. They're both classic, confident, and relevant brands today, and they deliver serious quality without drifting into that untouchable museum price territory. Tudor is Guerlain. Guerlain is Tudor. Zodiac. Zodiac is Jean Paul Gaultier. Both brands are bold and instantly recognizable, built around a strong visual identity. That's especially the case with Jean Paul Gaultier and those unique lamelle bottles and also the unique smell. And the Zodiac Seawolf and Jean Paul Gaultier's lamelle are all-time classics for both brands. They sit in that similar price tier to Tissot and Hugo Boss, both very accessible to the typical buyer. Zodiac is Jean Paul Gaultier. Jean Paul Gaultier is Zodiac. Hublot. Hublot is Bond No. 9. Both brands sit in a high price, high visibility tier and use bold design to command attention. Both are polarizing. And I say Hublot fully leans into that spectacle, while Bond No. 9 uses its loud presentation to draw people in, and then people gain appreciation for it once they see the quality. But both brands are impossible to ignore and yet premium enough to justify the high price. Hublot is Bond No. 9. Bond No. 9 is Hublot. Jaeger-LeCoultre. is Mrs. Francis Kurkdjian. Both brands, hard to pronounce. Both also represent refined, elegant luxury. Both found only in high-end luxury boutiques. And both also have their icons with Jaeger-LeCoultre's Reverso and Mrs. Francis Kurkdjian's Bacolette Rouge 540. Both brands exude quiet excellence over hype. Both also known mostly by their initials. JLC is MFK, MFK is JLC. All right, guys, that's 20 different pairings. And I'll tell you, I had a lot of fun putting this together. And it was interesting because there are a lot of brands that I just couldn't quite fit in there. Seiko and Grand Seiko. I thought about pairing Grand Seiko with Le Labo and maybe Seiko with Giorgio Armani, but neither of those just fit perfectly. So anyway, I would love to hear your opinion. Which ones did I get right? Which ones are like, no way? In the meantime, I'm gonna go back to reviewing menswear very soon, but please like and subscribe and leave a comment. I would love to hear what you have to say. As always, thank you for watching.